I'm going to celebrate doing that with a little trip to the bookstore. Just kidding. I was going to do that anyway. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Just another struggling writer. The Beleaguered Authors one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Today is Thursday, December 5th, and you might notice that I am actually starting this writing vlog on time. This morning for my daily tarot draw, I drew the Magician. And if you're not familiar with tarot, the Magician is the manifestation card. It is all about putting together the right ingredients to achieve your ultimate goals. And that really struck a chord with me this morning because I have been really down on myself ever since coming back from my depressive episode that I have not been able to get myself into a consistent writing habit, despite the fact that I very much want to be a writer. And I've realized that my biggest obstacle is consistency and making writing a priority. Between my kids and my job, doing schoolwork and my other aspirations, there is going to be an ebb and flow of what I am capable of in terms of writing. But I don't think I'm unique in that. I think that is a pretty common obstacle that writers have to face. So this week I am challenging myself to write every single day, Thursday through Wednesday. And I could not have picked a more difficult week to make this challenge to myself because my son's birthday is coming up. My dad will be in town. My daughter has a choir concert. We've got appointments and this and that and the other. Yes, there will be things to do. But that's also sort of the point. If I made this challenge to myself the next week when my kids were with their dad and I wouldn't be responsible for any of the extracurriculars, of course I would be able to write every single day. That's not a challenge. And that isn't going to help me break through this mentality that I have where I can only write in ideal circumstances. I need to learn how to write in the creases when I'm tired, when there's other things going on, even if it's only for 15 minutes a day. And I've got to lean into taking what time and energy I have and putting it into writing. So yes, I'm gonna have to navigate some challenges. But again, that's the point. So starting with today, it's been a while since I have started a writing vlog on Thursdays, even though I have intentionally structured my writing vlogs to be Thursday through Wednesday. I don't know what it is. Something about editing last week's video on Thursday. I think I'm just still stuck in the previous week and I don't move forward, which is unfortunate because in the past, Fridays have been a black hole of productivity because I come home after a long week at work and I want to have time for myself. And I would be fine with that, but the problem is also lately I have been shirking work on Saturdays. And I've started to come to think of Saturdays as also a don't worry about it, just relax sort of day. And then on Sundays are my big homework days typically. And so what ends up happening is that I maybe start writing Sunday night if I have enough time and energy after my homework. And then I'll do Monday, Tuesday, and maybe Wednesday. And that's not enough. Writing 3 or 4 days a week isn't getting me there. Today, I did my best to kind of start myself off on the right foot. I got a little bit of writing done while I was on my lunch break at work, just over 200 words. And then I had intended to come home and write for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But once again, editing videos took way longer than I expected, and that really ate into my writing time. So I only did one 30-minute sprint today, but I ended up with a total of 832 words, putting my grand total up to 22,055 words. So I have crossed another 1,000 words, and I am slowly inching my way towards that 25,000 word barrier. And let me be clear, 25,000 words is getting smashed this week. In fact, I would like to have it smashed by Saturday. Now, I was about to give myself a caveat, and I am not going to. There's no reason why I can't write 3,000 words over the next 2 days. It's Friday night tomorrow, which means I get to come home and take off my pants and relax. I can pull my laptop onto my lap. I can watch a basketball game if I want, and I can kind of take it easy. I don't have to worry about going to extracurriculars or getting my nighttime routine done so I can get up and go to work the next morning. I don't have to worry about putting the kids to bed. I've got the whole evening ahead of me. So that being said, between now and when I wake up on Sunday morning, I would like to be across that 25,000 word mark. And I'm not going to preemptively make my excuses. If you can't tell, my anxiety is through the roof right now. So I'm going to apologize in advance for how weird I seem right now. It's just that I can't get out of my own head while I'm talking, and it's just making me spiral. So sorry about that. I'm trying to work through it. But the most important thing is today that I wrote 832 words. I crossed over the 22,000 word mark. I'm putting myself in a really good position to smash the 25,000 word barrier this weekend. I'm going to celebrate doing that with a little trip to the bookstore. Just kidding. I was going to do that anyway. And I've proved to myself that I can do it even on days where maybe the circumstances aren't ideal. So tomorrow will be the next big test because, as you know by now, Fridays can be a little bit of a black hole for me. So knowing that I struggle on Fridays is the first step to overcoming that struggle, right? What I've got to do is be strategic with my time during the day, see if I can get out ahead of my writing goal like I did today by getting stuff done in the creases, and also just being realistic about what I can and can't do. Knowing that I don't have a lot of energy on Fridays, I can set a realistic goal of maybe 20 minutes, or maybe even just choosing not to vlog Friday's activity because just the idea of getting the camera set up sometimes seems like too much effort. So that is the mindset I need to take into the Friday part of this challenge, is knowing what my proclivities are, knowing what I have on my plate, and setting a realistic goal based on what I anticipate my energy and my motivation to be. And I'll leave you guys with that for today. So far, I'm off to a pretty good start, and it is all about maintaining that momentum now. So I will check in with you, if not tomorrow, then Saturday for sure. Hello everyone, it is now Friday evening and I am just about to sit down and do a writing session. My goal for the day is at least 1,000 words, and it is a little bit later than I would like to be starting that. It is just after 10 o'clock and I've had another busy day. My daughter had a doctor's appointment, a pretty serious one. I had a book I needed to finish because, and I don't say that lightly, like it literally was counting down the hours before I had to return it to the library. And I had some stats homework that I wanted to try and finish, building on what I did last week by getting out ahead of it. But as I was meditating over my tarot deck this morning and thinking about all these tasks, I ended up drawing the 9 of Cups. And if you're not familiar with tarot, the 9 of Cups is like the wish card, the wish fulfillment card, and is all about being blessed and counting your blessings and being surrounded by abundance and the fruits of your labor. And it occurred to me that I do a lot of bitching and moaning about how busy I am, but truthfully, the busyness is a blessing. It is truly a gift to have so many avenues or places to direct my energy. I'm blessed with a great family. I am blessed to have the means to be going to college for the first time at 36, and taking classes and pursuing my degree after spending, the first half of my adulthood unable to do that. I am blessed with a job that I actually like. I am blessed to have a channel and to have the means to pursue another creative passion in that way. And yet, I sit down every night and fuss about how I just don't have any time. I don't have any time. I don't have any time. And I'm not really seeing these blessings as blessings. And so when I drew the card this morning, after I had been really ruminating over everything that I have pretty much tasked myself with, everything that I have put on my own plate, and bemoaning how am I going to get all this stuff done today in a day where I have to leave work early because my daughter has this doctor's appointment. I've got to read a book before, 3 p.m. because I have to return it to the library. I have to get words done. I promised myself I would be at the 25,000 word mark by Saturday. I have all of these things. And then the universe redirected me and pointed out that that abundance of tasks, and I don't even want to call them tasks because that makes it seem like they're obligations, but that abundance of engagement and employment is a blessing. It is something that I have wished for. And so I'm going to do my best to look at like my to-do list today and not go, oh my God, what have I done to myself? It's this, I did this to myself with a purpose. And that is because I get satisfaction and fulfillment out of it. That being said, it is quite late. It's 10:30 on a Friday. And as I have mentioned ad nauseum, I typically don't like to work on Friday nights. I want to come home and relax. But I made myself a promise that I would get to the 25,000 word mark by the end of tomorrow, which means I need 3,000 words between now and tomorrow. And guess what? I'm busy tomorrow too. My daughter has a choir rehearsal I have to take her to. I've got to get some Christmas shopping done. I promised my other daughter, we would go to the bookstore. I've got to film that Cardcaptor Sakura rewatch, which means like sitting down for at least an hour to record. And I've got more homework. So it's not like tomorrow is any less full of obligations. And that's what I want. I want the busyness. I want the employment. I want to have to sit down and schedule my day so that I can make time for everything that needs to get done. I did it to myself. I just keep forgetting that I did it to myself on purpose, with a purpose. I'm going to sit down and write. It is quite cold outside, so I think I'm going to sit out here in the living room and enjoy the fireplace a little bit longer. And I am going to try and get at least 1,000 words. So that way I can try and break up tomorrow's words into sessions into two and try and get to 1,000 tomorrow. Now, maybe I'll hit a second wind and I'll go for 1,500. That would be even better. But my soft goal for tonight is 1,000 words. So I may check in with you. I may not, just depending on how late it is at that point. But I just wanted to reframe all of the things that I bitch about as positives. I'm going to get started. Like I said, I may or may not check in, but we will see how much I can accomplish tonight. Hey y'all, it is now Saturday evening and I have had a long day. First of all, it was after midnight by the time I finally went to bed last night, but I was able to get just over 1,000 words with a total of 1,060. So managed to hit that mark. But it was pretty late, so I slept in this morning, and then when I got up, I needed to get out ahead of my reading a little bit because I've got a video I want to film for Monday. Then I had to take my daughter to choir practice, and me and my other daughter went Christmas shopping, including a trip to the bookstore. I probably left behind like a dozen more books I wanted to pick up, but I restrained myself and only managed to spend $100. If you're interested, I will link to that mini book haul here in the cards. After we got home from all that, I had to sit down and get some homework done. I learned my lesson last week with how important it is to get out ahead of it. So I knocked out some of the math, which will leave me with just a couple of things to do tomorrow. But no more distractions. It is now 8:30 and my intention is to sit down and do my writing for the day in one go. As I mentioned earlier, my goal was to get to the 25,000 word mark before the end of today. And to do that, I would need to get 1,833 words, which is a big ask, but not undoable, especially if I'm getting started early. As you probably know by now, the 25,000 word mark is a huge benchmark for me because I have not been able to progress past that point with any of my past projects over the last several years. So getting through it will be a huge weight off my mind, and I think will help free me of some of the anxiety I have about working through this draft. So that's enough yapping. Let's get to the writing. Okay, so I have just hit the halfway mark of my word goal for the day. I have gotten 935 words, so I need exactly 1,006 to cross over 25,000. It has been an hour and a half, but I have had some distractions, so I feel pretty confident that I can get another 1,000 words before I go to bed pretty easily. I'm feeling really energized by this scene. I had originally pegged it to be between 3,000 and 3,500 words, but it's probably going to way overshoot that. But everything in the scene is really, really important and really necessary, so I'm not really pressed about it. And I'm just feeling like really excited to get through this particular scene. This feels like a real linchpin moment in the story. I don't know where it would fall in like the Save the Cat beat sheets or in like the 6-act structure, but this is a very pivotal moment. This is sort of the moment, I guess it would be accepting of the call. No, that's not quite right either. I would have to look and see, but it's a really important moment where the main character kind of learns what is expected of her as she's being recruited to the secret government agency, like what her mission is, and getting a little bit more detail about like her magic and what she's capable of and everything. So really, really excited about this scene. I'm gonna get back to work. I'm hoping to do 1,000 in less than an hour this time. I've put my phone away. That was a big distraction. I've put it away out of reach, so I'm not going to be messing with that. And then I'm hoping to just barrel through to the end. So I will check in with you once I hit it. I'm so excited, you guys. I did it! I did it! I actually blew past the 25,000 word mark. I was just really in a flow. It is now just after 11 o'clock, so it has been just over 2.5 hours, but I did it, y'all. I did. My daily total came out to 2,392 words for a grand total of 25,451 words. Yes! I did it. Oh my gosh. And there's still so much more to do. I'm going to end up having to split this chapter again into 2 because I'm just doing too much in this one. There's a lot of info dumping. There's a lot of, not info dumping, but a lot of like information being revealed over the course of basically the main character, like learning about what her mission is and what is expected of her with this agency. And there's just too much. This is probably something that'll be heavily edited in revisions to get it to be a little bit more concise. But something I realized while I was working is the truth of that phrase that the first draft is telling yourself the story. I know all of these details already because I've had all of this in my head, but it needs to be on paper. And when it is on paper, I can go in and edit it to a place that makes it make sense and make it sound good, because right now it doesn't sound good. It is a little info dumpy, but I was in such a flow. I saw that I had crossed and I was like, I can't leave it just yet. In fact, I was almost tempted to completely finish out this chapter. There's really not that much left, maybe 200 more words, if that. But I decided to leave it for now so I can finish it out pretty easily tomorrow and then slide into the next chapter. I'm a big proponent of leaving a session, ending a day in the middle of a scene. It makes it a little easier to get back into things the next day. So I'm going to leave it here, but it was tempting, especially as I saw that word count tick up. But oh my gosh, I am so excited, especially since I know what comes next. Usually at this point, when I hit that 25,000 words, I am drained of ideas and I don't know what to do next, and I'm not confident in what I have planned. I'm still super confident in what I have planned. I know exactly what's coming next. I know what the next chapter is, not just because the scene is being broken into 2, but I have my detailed outline. Nothing is a surprise. And so I feel really, really good about tomorrow and the next day and all the chapters that are coming next. And that is really the biggest thing, is I can hit this word goal and not feel like panicky. And more than that, I don't feel my will to keep writing bleeding out of me like I used to. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I am so happy. So I am going to leave it here for tonight. Again, it's just after 11 o'clock and I've got 100 pages of my book to read before tomorrow. So I am going to crawl in bed and finish that up. And I will plan on seeing you guys tomorrow for a more reasonable writing session. Hey y'all, checking in with a quick writing update. Quick because it's late and I want to go to bed so bad. It is now Tuesday evening and it has been a tough couple of days writing wise, at least like making time for writing wise. On Sunday, I did get some done. I made it a point to carve out some time, even though it was another day where it's chock full of things to do, finishing a book, editing a video, homework, preparing for the week and all that. So on Sunday, as you saw, I did get some writing done. It wasn't a ton, but it was enough to make me feel like I had tried. So Sunday, I did 446 words. It was about a half-hour sprint. Like I said, I carved it out in the middle of the day because I knew I was going to be short on time for the rest of the week. And that turned out to be prescient because Man, the last 2 days have been an ass kicking. So yesterday, Monday, was my son's birthday. So I already knew that my evening was going to be taken up with going out to dinner. And also my dad is in town because of my son's birthday and also some other things going on. So we went out to dinner. We hung out with my dad. That was the evening. It ended up being exactly what I thought, not ideal for writing, especially since I stayed up late on Sunday night watching the final Eras Tour live stream. So I was already pretty tired. So I went to bed. I took the opportunity to go to bed early. But I thought, well, I should try and get some stuff done on my break at work. But I had forgotten to account for the fact that our new girl at work was starting yesterday, and I am the person training her. And so I didn't get a break at work. I was literally with her almost the entire day. And so there was no time from the time that I got up until the time that I crashed into my bed to write. I mean, I guess I could have made some time, but I was so tired from staying up far too late that it didn't work out. And I was thinking, like, any one of those if I only had one of those excuses, that would be one thing. But all of those factors combined together, I think, made for a decent reason to not write yesterday. Today, I'm still training the new girl, and my daughter had a major choir concert after school that was quite lengthy and meant that we didn't get to have dinner until afterwards because she had to go pretty much, as soon as I got home at 5 o'clock, she had to go straight to the school to prepare. So we didn't get dinner until after it was done. So it was like 8:30 by the time that I was actually getting time to do anything other than that. And I had to edit a video. So, and it's one of those where it's a kind of video that I know always takes me a long time to edit, and it did. And so now it is 10:45 and it's not happening. I did anticipate this evening though. So I did get a little bit done on my break today, just over 100 words. Let's see, 152 words. So nothing really to write home about, especially since I'm feeling a little bit blocked on the scene. I'm having a little bit of trouble slipping into it, and I'm feeling very tempted to just skip it. Not skip it, but like skip it and just jump ahead to the next scene and imply everything that happened before. I really don't like doing that. It's kind of a tactic I used in the previous iteration of this project. And when I came back to it recently, I didn't really love that I did that. It really got confusing. I need to explain this part of the story in this scene instead of just jumping ahead and referencing it and hoping that readers will pick up on it. So I do need to write it. I'm just feeling a little bit stuck on how to write it. So that is really cramping my style and really preventing me from feeling energized and wanting to carve out time, even with all of this going on, to get into it. I'm going to sleep on it tonight and try and come up with some ideas. I did get those 150 words, so that felt important because I tried, knowing that I don't have a lot of time and that I'm blocked. So I'm grateful that I was able to do that. Unfortunately, the hits do not stop coming. Tomorrow I've got a big meeting at work that'll probably take up most of my day. There will be no writing during the day at all. First, even before that, I got to get up early. I got to take my daughter to a choir rehearsal. In the afternoon, both my big kids have theater rehearsal that, yes, you might be thinking, didn't they just finish a show? Yes, they did. And yet they have both joined the next one. Anyway, so they've both got theater rehearsal. And then in the evening, my daughter has an appointment that usually takes almost 2 hours. So tomorrow's not going to be a great writing day either. I think it'll probably be better than the previous two. I should be able to come home after her appointment and get something done. I don't have any editing to do. I don't have any filming to do. I should be good to go. Thursday, my son has an after-school theater production for a class, not an extracurricular. And then I think that's it. Oh my God. Anyway, they are out of school next week for the holiday, and so they're trying to, all of their extracurriculars and fine arts and stuff are hitting all at the same time, and it's like, oh my gosh. Friday, my kids are going to their dad's, so Friday night I should have time for the first time in almost a week. But there's another complication. This week is my project week for this term for school. So I actually have 2 major projects that I need to be working on. And I had intended, one is a 6-page paper, and I had intended on writing a page every day. I have not been able to do that because of the aforementioned. So I have a big paper to write, and then I've got another statistics project, which the first one was not that bad. Was not as bad as I feared. So I'm hoping it is similar this time as well, but it is still going to be quite a bit of work. So I have got to carve out some time before this weekend hits to at least get started on both of those projects, because I do not want to put it off all the way to the weekend and then get myself in trouble and run out of time, because then I'm not going to have time to do anything else, which obviously I want to do. So this week is an ass kicking. So I'm really glad that I banked all of the writing I did over the weekend, because otherwise this would be a complete disaster. But I am going to try and make time tomorrow, which will be the last day of the vlog. And the good thing is that I did cross over that 25,000 word mark. And the reason I feel stuck right now is not because I don't have any ideas. It's just I don't know how to enter the scene. I feel like once I enter the scene, it'll come really easily. It's just that starting of the scene that I'm struggling with. And I think once I get past that block, the rest of it will come really easily, and then we'll move on into the next section of scenes. This scene is the ending of Act 1. Originally this was the end of Act 1. I don't know if it's still the end of Act 1 because we're up to 25,000 words. Woo! Hello. Because we're up to 25,000 words already, and this is supposed to only be 90 words. So I don't think Act 1 ends here anymore. But originally, in the original outline, this was the end of Act 1. So end of a major beat. And so once I get past this and I move into the next section of beats and the Act 2, again, I think I'll pick up the flow again. It's just getting into this one has proven a little bit difficult. So that's my writing update. I wish it was more exciting, but I am glad that I thought ahead over the weekend and was like, I better get a bunch done because this week is going to be so hectic, and it has been. And then next week is the week that my kids are with their dad, and so I will have a ton of time. So next week's vlog should be aces. I will let you go for now. Like I said, I am proud of myself for getting something done today when I could, and I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing out this week strong with some strong writing tomorrow. Hey y'all, just checking in. It is now Wednesday evening, and I am about to settle in for an itty bitty writing sesh, but I don't think I'm going to film it because I think what I'm going to do is sit in my bed and do it. As predicted, am completely worn out. And I've still got one more day of parenting, extracurriculars, and other things to do. But starting Friday, and for the 2 weeks at least after that, I should be actually maybe 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I am free of school-related activities, and next week is the week my kids will be with their dad, so I will have extra free time next week as well, especially next week. So I'm just trying to power through the end of this week. But I did not want to leave this vlog without getting in another full actual intentioned writing session. I don't know how long I will go. It's actually pretty early. It's only 9 o'clock, just about 9 o'clock. So I could go anywhere between half an hour to an hour comfortably. And then I think what I'm going to reward myself with is just sitting in bed with my heating pad, watching YouTube and doing some cross-stitching, because I have not gotten any cross-stitching done in a while. It's just one of those activities that I don't get to do very often because it requires both my hands and my eyes. And because it is not reading or writing, it gets deprioritized pretty heavily. That is my plan. I'm going to get in bed. I never came up with any ideas on how to finesse my way through this writer's block that I have with this opening part of this scene. So it looks like I'm just going to take the brute force approach and just do it. Because like I said, I think once I get past the initial hurdle of entering the conversation, my main character is meeting with her new boss and kind of learning what the terms of her employment are and what the mission is. So it's very important. Cannot skip it. I briefly considered the other day. I just don't know how to ease into it. It's just, I'm just going to write the sentences that need to be said without figuring out a way to make it sound good because I've been trying to do that for 2 days and nothing has come to me. That's what my plan is. I don't know if I have a specific writing goal. Let's see what my total is at the moment. You know what else is funny today? Is I was thinking about the last project that I was working on, which is back on the shelf to percolate some more. And I was thinking, I didn't really get very far into that idea. I don't think I actually hit 25,000 words before I stopped. And then I looked today And it was almost exactly 25,000 words. And I was like, yep, it follows the pattern, even though it didn't feel like it did. Okay, so for this one, I am currently sitting just over 26,000 at 26,063. I don't think I can get 1,000 words. I guess I could try. Whatever comes first, an hour or 1,000 words. How about that? So that way, if it takes me longer to power through this opening part of this scene, I'm not like still having to try and meet a word count goal. But if I do hit the word count goal, I don't have to push myself even farther. I think I like that. Whichever comes first, an hour or 1,000 words. So I will settle in with my cozy blanket, my heating pad, and my laptop, and I will check in with you afterwards to let you know how I did. All right, it is now just over an hour later. It is almost 10:15. I did lollygag just a little bit getting started because my son was about to go to bed and I wanted to say goodnight, and then just pure distractedness. But in the end, I did get my 1,000 words before the hour mark, but only by like 6 or 7 minutes. But I got exactly 1,001 words, bringing my total up to 27,064 words. And I am just about halfway through this big scene, probably another 1,000 to go to finish this out. And then I can finally close out this act, or at least this big section, and move into the next phase, which is like my main character being trained in magic and learning more about the magical world and kind of understanding more about it, being taught more about it and understanding her place in it. So I'm excited to get to that. I'm just so pleased and thrilled to finally be up and over that 25,000 word mark, but also still know what's coming next and know what to do and have my plan. And that just speaks to the 6 months of preparation that I did before even starting the draft. And I think once I do finally finish this draft, I will be able to definitively say that this process worked for me. It's been a long time since I finished a draft, and even that draft that I finished in like 2018, I think it was full of holes. I skipped scenes that I didn't feel like writing or that I was blocked on, and it was just a mess. I don't even remember how long it was because I think I longhand drafted it, and I don't know if I counted all of it up eventually. But that story is now in my trunk because it as first stories, first drafts it needed a lot of work, and I wasn't prepared to do that work then. Maybe that's something I can revisit once I have some more under my belt. But anyway, point being, I don't think I will have that same feeling when I finish this draft because, yes, I'm sure there will be holes or questions or areas that needs to be revised, obviously, as all first drafts need to be. But I don't think I'll feel like it's incomplete in the same way that my other one did. I don't plan on skipping any scenes. Everything in my outline still makes sense in terms of like the progression of the story in the way that one event leads to the next. I'm really, really optimistic about this project and the way it's going. Yes, it has taken me much longer than I would have liked, but what I am coming to accept is I am making it work with the time budget that I have available to me and the energy level that I have available to me. Granted that I have a full-time job and 3 kids that I am the primary caregiver for, and I have everything else going on in my life. The fact that I'm able to sit down and be motivated is on some days kind of a miracle. I'm just going to take that and be proud of myself. And doing the vlogging and making myself accountable in public is a big part of that. I want to continue this process even for the next project. It's a little bit early to be talking about it. I'm going to cover it a little bit more in depth in my New Year's resolutions post on the 1st of the new year, but I want to keep it up. I want to keep up this momentum that I'm building with this project, with this vlog series, with this draft. I want to keep writing. I'll obviously need to revise this project, but I also want to be brainstorming and working towards new projects as well. But again, we're going to talk about all of that with my New Year's resolutions post. But for now, I'm going to close out this vlog. It is Wednesday evening. It is just after 10 o'clock, and I have gotten a weekly total. Let's do my weekly total. So my weekly total was 5,417 words. So that's pretty good, especially considering what has come before. And I wrote 6 out of the 7 days. I missed Monday because of everything that was going on. And that's a big improvement as well. I know I mentioned in my December Cozy Reset that I wanted to write 25 out of 31 days. I'm a little bit behind on that goal because I missed a couple days last week. But I don't even care about that right now. I care about the fact that I am slowly starting to build up a habit and slowly starting to make getting some words a priority. Like yesterday, even though I only got 152 words, I anticipated that I was not going to have any real writing sessions. And I had to slip some in the creases just to keep it going and to say that I did write, even though I didn't have a lot of time or energy. That is really important too, is to make it a priority to look ahead, anticipate pitfalls, and try and give myself a win despite them ahead of time. Like I said, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to go get in my jammies and get in bed and get some cross stitching done. And I will start a new vlog tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe or consider leaving a comment below. In my next video, I will have a tarot card book recommendation for you. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then.